offseason has been interesting, and that is mild, probably. We had a lot of players move, especially those at the end of the season who felt that because they were a ball-playing defender playing defend instead of a ball-playing defender playing cover, I broke my promise to them, and therefore they wanted to leave, in which case I'm saying, okay, I'm going to kick you out. I'm going to get as much money for you as I can. I'm going to reinvest that money into players who are just as good as or better than you. It's the sixth season here at Palace. We've got this season and next season to A, win the Champions League, B, win some sort of trophy. We won the Prem last season. We had a little help doing it. I'd like to try and win it a little bit more convincingly this season, but we've already satisfied one of the two criteria I set for us. That said, we have our Champions Cup group stage draw today. We had the Carabao Cup earlier. We drew Sheffield United, who are back in the Prem. So let's see what is going on with the group draw. This is the Muster Man version 1.3 skin. I'll go a little bit more into it here in just a second, but for the most part, I'm liking it. It has a couple of glitches, some of which I think may be related to previous skins I had installed, even though I've taken them out of the skins folder and wiped the cache and everything like that. Or it could be just issues with the skin itself, which frankly are minor. It's a really nice skin. It's really clean. We'll take a look at it here in just a minute. What pot are we in? We are in the first pot. How are Liverpool in the first pot? By virtue of their score. Okay. Hey, we're in Group A. PSG, Bayern, Benfica, Liverpool, Man United, Zebra / Juve, and Real Madrid. Inter Milan is in Group A with us. Barcelona is in Group B with PSG. Man City goes to Group C. Wolfsburg to Group D. Leipzig goes to Group E. Borussia Dortmund to Group F. Porto to Group G. And Ajax rounds out Group H. Zenit in Group A. Feyenoord in Group B. RB Salzburg in Group C. Atletico Madrid in Group D. Real San Sebastian in Group E. Roma in Group F. Monaco in Group G. And Milan rounds out Group H. Olympic Lyon. Good grief. That's one hell of a group. Rounds out Group A. Nordsjælland finishes Group B. Rangers finish Group C. Ludogorets finish Group D. Shakhtar finish Group E. Olympiacos finish Group F. Galatasaray finish Group G. And that means Celtic is going to Group H. So this is the home screen of whatever team you're looking at. Head coach, kits, previous games, things like that. Your history. One of the things we're going to look at here. This is the league table. Very straightforward. Leon finished in third last season. Okay. Where did Inter finish second? 92 points. Okay. Well, we definitely have our work cut out for us. Zenit probably finished first. Maybe second last season. Nope, Zenit finished first. Followed by the three Moscow teams and Krasnodar. So, good league, that league. Okay, so, you know what? We'll take a look at the player screen here. So this is the player screen. I don't have the photo packs loaded. One of the things I'm planning on doing my next save is probably downloading one, then using the new gen face pack that Zealand does. I mostly like this layout. Well, let me rephrase that. I like this layout about 90%. I like the fact it uses the space really well. The training is over here. The recent statistics are over here. The attributes are nice. The form is nice. This over here, I don't mind. It's not exactly in the way. I don't mind it there. It's nice to look at that and say, okay, that's a quick look at that. You also have it down here as well. And the thing that does bother me, and I admit, it's me being peculiar, is you have the players' positives up here and you have his negatives down here. I think it would make much more sense if you had some sort of divider and then you had the negative afterwards, so it was all on one line as opposed to looking up and down. But I do like the layout of this. I like the font's really nice. It's really clear. It's really clean. It's a very clean skin. I like that you have all the information here. The player traits are here. The trading is also very nice. You know, there's really not a lot to complain about this skin. And the things I complain about, they're really quibbles at the end of the day. I'll be the first to admit it. Anyone who does the skin has my immense respect because Lord knows I could never do it. We're going to take a look at the budgets here real quick. As you can see, our original budget was $73.2 million. We have $92.4 million in the bank. Our original salary, where our payroll is $2.3 million, and we're currently spending $200 million. We had quite a bit of player movement. At the end of last season, before this season officially started, so these went on last year's transfer budget, we did make a couple of moves. Hannibal comes to us from Man United, $8.5 million for a midfielder who's also a backup at attacking mid. A solid player, 23 years old, some very good positives, not a lot of negatives. He's physically pretty good. Mentally, he's pretty good. Let me rephrase that. Mentally, he's very good in a lot of places, especially for the position he's the backup in. Technically, he's lacking in a couple of areas, but I'm not too worried about that. We brought him on to be a backup more than anything else. He'll probably get a lot of time on the other 23s. He's a Tunisian international. He's the type of player we're looking for at this point in the save. We're looking for someone who can stay on the bench, get some starts, come off the bench when he is on the bench, and contribute. And so far, at least he played the Community Shield game, and he was okay there. He's been away at African Cup of Nations qualifying, and he's been fairly decent there. The big one was Sandro Tonali. Milan put him out there. He requested a trade. And he may not be... Something tells me Football Manager kind of shorted him in his potential ability this time around, but he's managed to fulfill it. He's 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 26 years old. He's here on an important player contract. His salary isn't bad. I am playing him as a Carolero. Again, it's Sandro Tonali. We all know what we're looking at. Physically, he's very good. Mentally, he's very good. Technically, he's pretty darn good in a lot of places. I love the first touch, the passing. He's a decent tackler and marker, so I can play him as a deep line playmaker or central mid if I have to. But let me just see something here real quick. First to be on the right. You know, he's good at corners. He's decent at crossing. He's okay at long shots. He's a very good player. And I am more than happy to have him on the squad. And then we get into this season, and I'm going to switch things up a little bit here. On the released players, the only player we released was Samuel Ando. He was a youth prospect who wasn't all that good to begin with, and he wasn't getting better. On the free transfers, on the outs, Kean Codrington, who just never developed. He was a youth player with potential, and I can never get him past this current star ability. Now, I know his ability has gone up, and I'm comparing him to players within our squad. But you would think against guys like Clark and Okeke and some of the younger players I have in the squad, he would at least be 2, maybe 2.5 stars. And then going back and looking at his attributes, they really haven't gone up all that much, which leads me to believe that in my next save, I really need to take control of all the young players' training. Or at the very least, if I have a player like Kean Codrington, who has 4-star potential better, put him on the senior squad, get him senior training so I can watch him and then just put them up for under 19 games or youth games or whatever they are for 90 minutes. So he went to Orange County in America. So he is now a California guy. He should be liking life. Sean Smith went to Celtic on a free. Conor Gallagher, not my midfielder, but my young guy, also went to Celtic. Stuart Leslie went to Hibernian. Casey Lagagne went to Middlesbrough, and Joe White went to Inverness. On the ends, we brought in Stephen Williams. He's a youth player I brought in just for under 19 depth more than anything else. Loan deals. Again, we were busy on the loan front. Hristo Lovkov went to Sochaux. He is there until he gets his work permit. It's really kind of annoying, the fact that he hasn't been able to get one yet. Kevin Nelson went to Fleetwood. Ben Elliott went to Fleetwood. Nathan Ferguson went to Reading. Arda Guler went to Reading. Hristo Lovkov went once. He went twice. This has got to be a bug in the game because I sent him there in July, and then I Don't know what the hell is going on there. That is really interesting. Abdul Boateng went to Rochdale. Chris McCaskill went to Northampton. Tyrell Harding went to Wigan. John Okeke went to Coventry. When I looked at it, he was not going to get a ton of playing time, and neither was Jair. I brought Jair in to be a backup, but some things have changed to kind of put that on the back burner for the moment. But he definitely, if I was playing this slave out, and I may keep this as a personal save just to play it offline sort of thing, he's got potential. He's got a lot of potential, and it would be very interesting to have it play out. I mean, as you can see, he's got 5 appearances. He's got 2 goals already, one of which was in the Carabao. He's got a good future in front of him. And then Eyüp Gedek, who is my young Turkish striker, went to Nottingham Forest. I suspect this is probably going to be his last season with us, just simply because I have other better options. What I need to do is look at his contract here. Yeah, I re-signed him with the intent of moving him on at the end of the season. Because frankly, they're saying, oh, hey, he's worth anywhere from 27 to 31 million. If we get even half of that, I will be more than happy. I mean, physically, he's really good. He's got good agility. He's got good balance. He has decent acceleration and natural fitness. His pace and stamina aren't the best, and neither is his strength. Mentally, he kind of makes up for that because he has 14 composure, 13 decision-making, 15 off the ball, 14 work rate, 18 flair. Technically, he's got a lot of holes. I mean, the 16 technique is nice, but he's not a good passer. He's got good first touch, decent finishing, and decent dribbling. He is a prototypical advanced forward. He's 20 years old, and where he's improving, it's been incremental at best. The more I look at him and other players, it leads me to believe that I just need to take my really good youth prospects and just put them on the senior squad. And here is where the fun begins. Take a look at the ins. Jeremy Doku, we got from Rennes for £55 million. He requested a transfer. I took a look at him. We had well over $120 million in the bank, and I said, yes, let's get him. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 3 appearances, already 2 assists. He's got good agility. He's got good acceleration. He's got good natural fitness. He's pacey. His stamina and strength are okay. His balance is okay. Mentally, I love the 18 bravery. The 17 flair is also nice. He's got decent determination, decent vision. I mean, his only weaknesses really are 9 positioning and a 9 leadership. And seeing as how I'm playing as a pressing forward, the positioning, it's not bad, but then again, it's also not critical. And if push comes to shove, I can always turn around and play him as an advanced forward. Technically, good dribbler, nice first touch. Long shots aren't the best, but he's got decent passing. He's a good penalty kick taker. He's got very good technique. He's everything I've been looking for and probably a little bit more. And frankly, I don't think we overpaid for him. $55 million straight up is a good deal for this sort of player, in my opinion. Next in, Coney de Winter from Juve for $3.1 million. He's literally a jack of all trades, master of none on the defensive half of the field. Can play all the positions, most of them not too badly. He's a natural defensive center back. I brought him on because Duverne wants to leave. He was upset. I played him in the wrong position last season, and I needed a replacement for him. And he's that replacement. He's a lunch pail sort of guy. Comes into work, knows what's expected of him, does his best to do it, doesn't try anything to exceed that. And for what I'm paying him for and what I paid to get him, he's fitting that bill really well. He got 1 appearance because Laird was injured and I had to start him at defensive right back. And then Ruben Polito from Borussia Dortmund for $8.5 million rather. We just signed him. Defensive center back and right back. He's more here as Laird's backup than anything else, but I could also use a little bit more depth at the defensive center back position. We got Zagadou, we got Tizier, we got, totally blanking on his name now, Grigoras. A couple other players that can play there, but none of them are as good as Polito. Physically, he's pretty solid. The natural fitness of 10, it's not bad. It's not good, but I'm not too worried about it. Mentally, he's solid across the board. I love the 16 determination. 15 anticipation, 13 bravery is nice. 14 aggression is nice. His off the ball is good. His positioning is good. His work rate is nice. Technically, I got an itch. Sorry. Technically, he's a very good header. The jumping reach could probably be a little bit better, especially for a guy who's 6 foot, 182 pounds. But he is solid technically. He's not a dribbler. He's not a finisher. So I'm not worried about those being low. But he's got good first touch. He's okay at corners. His crossing is average. But if he was playing center back, you would expect that. He's got, like I said, good heading, decent long shots, good marking, good passing, very good tackler. His technique is not bad either. He can definitely improve. So how do we get all the money to buy these guys? Well, we moved quite a few players as well. I'm going to sort by value here. Jaden Raymond went to QPR for $110,000. He was a youth midfielder who just was never really developing here. And he was one of those who started out as Premier quality, then went to Championship quality, and then went to League 2 quality, and QPR made an offer for him, and I said, yeah, sure. I don't know that we got value for him per se, but the fact that we got something from him when he came through as a youth player, he was a youth player when the save started, I'm okay with that. He had an okay loan agreement. He had an okay loan spell at Stevenage, but he also never improved after that. He had an okay loan spell at Wassel, but it wasn't anything to write home about, especially when you consider that he's probably as good as or better than most of the players in his position at that particular level. The fact that he went to the Championship and he's playing for QPR and he's getting starts kind of speaks to that. Scott Buckley-Ricklets went to West Brom for $160,000. He was a youth player. I don't know what West Brom saw in him because he's half-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. But if they want to pay me £160,000 to get him, I'm certainly not going to stop him. Alessandro Sorsanti went to Stuttgart for $8.25. We brought him in last season to be a bench player, and he was unhappy. I didn't play him in the right position, wanted to leave, so I said, sure. We turned a little bit of a profit on him. Jara Riedelwald went to Leicester for $10 million. He was the odd man out. 2.5-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. Solid player. Would have been okay on the squad, but at 29 years old, he was starting to lose a step. He wanted to leave, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised I got the money for him. I did, but I'm more than happy with it. Oliver Skip, who was also upset that I didn't play him in the position he wanted. It's annoying. I don't know why I accept those promises. 9 times out of 10, they're locked in, and I can't do anything about them, and it's not worth walking away from the player. You think you can, kind of ease them into it, but sometimes they just pitch a fit, and these guys pitched a fit. He went to Liverpool for $22.5 million. Wasn't really a fan of him going in league, but it was good money for him. We paid 16 for him. We turned it around in 22, and I'm okay with that. He's a good player, and he was a good player for us. If you watched the last episode, you saw it was, look, you weren't playing the position I promised you would play in, but you were contributing the position you did play in, and you helped us win the Prem. I don't care. You know what? Okay, you don't care. I don't care that you're not here. Milan came in, made an unsolicited offer for Pietro Pellegrini, and he absolutely jumped at it. I would have been happy to keep him, but in letting him go, that let us get Jeremy Doku. That was one of the reasons that convinced me to get Jeremy Doku. He had a really good career for us. You can't deny that. And for the fact we brought him in at $1.1 million and we turned around and sold him for $35, that is really, really good. He had a nice loan spell at Milan. I think that's one of the reasons he wanted to go back there. But 21-10 for us the first season, 35-19, 29-16, 28-13. I think if Milan gets anywhere near that 28-13, they're going to be happy. They're going to think that's money well spent. And then last but not least, Odilon Kasunu went to Borussia Dortmund. We essentially traded backs, although they got the bet. Well, you know what? Let's see something here. I don't know that they got the better end of the deal. Polito is just as good as he is in most areas. He's a little bit speedier. He's the better attacker. He's the better technical player. Kasunu is a little bit better in the air. Defending, physically, they're the same. Polito's better mentally. We paid $8.5 for Polito, and we sold Kasunu for $38 million. He's a solid player. He's a good player. Just for whatever reason, he was upset at where he was playing last season and wanted to leave. And I said, okay, sure. We brought him in for $14.25. We turned around and sold him for $38. complain about that. He was really good for us. He was solid in the defensive backfield. But I think, we're going to look at the team depth chart here. We're doing really well. Ignore the Zagadou Laird stuff. It's Natan. You know what? Let me do this. It's Natan and DeWinter. Adam Marola is here as well, although I have him out listed for loan, but I suspect he probably won't go. I'm okay with that. Zagadou can play left back as well, and he'll probably move over to play left back every once in a while because I have Grigoras and Tizier as my defensive center backs. I need to get them more first team. I need to get them more playing time together. Laird is my right back. DeWinter is his primary backup. Polito can also play there. So Polito's going to be on the bench. We've got a nice rotation going between Zagadou, Grigoras, and Tizier. Polito coming on certainly doesn't hurt. I can put him on the bench. He can take Laird's spot, or he can replace who's ever having a bad day on the defensive center back line. Midfield-wise, we're doing really well. We got Stockbridge. We got Tonali. We've got Gallagher. Grigoras can step up there if we need to. Fatu, Esposito, and Gallagher are my three advanced midfielders, depending on who's playing what where. I'm more than happy to have either one of those three starting. And then up top, it's going to be Doku, Esposito, Joseba Sola, who actually improved quite a bit last season, and Jordan Clark, who really didn't. And it's kind of bumming me out, to be honest with you. He's been starting games, and for whatever reason, he just hasn't been improving, at least visually. This says he's better than Sola at the moment, and I'm totally on board with that. He's a very good all-around striker. He's a very good advanced forward. It's just for whatever reason, he's not improving star-wise. I don't know why I'm hung up on that. I shouldn't be hung on that, but I am. Preseason-wise, we essentially blew everybody out of the water. Then we turned around and crapped the bed against Tottenham to kick the season off. They absolutely bossed us. Grigoras had a bad game. Stockbridge and Tonali were underwhelming. My strikers were underwhelming as well. Sola got the late goal and it wasn't enough. They beat us 2-1. We turned around and got ourselves right against United. Esposito, a brace of goals. Fatu, a brace of goals, one of which was in extra time. So, we're doing okay there. We got Chelsea coming up, and then it's the end of the transfer window. Although now that I think about it, what I may actually do is, let's look at the calendar here. We're here. Chelsea's here. Transfer window's here. But after Chelsea, we've got Brighton, and then we got Sheffield United. So I think what I'm going to do is just play Chelsea offline. We'll come back for Brighton, skip Leicester, and play Sheffield United in our Carabao Cup third-round match. And there's something going on this year. World Cup, probably, which is why we have only 3 games in November and freaking 7 games in December. And actually looking at the episode link for the moment, I'm pushing a half hour, and I know there's not a lot of dead space. So I think what we're going to do is just call this episode here. We're going to come back next episode with Brighton. Slight change of plans. We're going to come back next episode with Inter and Sheffield United. And we'll catch Brighton down in the end of January. If for whatever reason I skipped that, feel free to yell at me. So, it was a busy transfer window. A lot of loan players, a lot of guys left on freeze. We made a decent amount of money. We spent 67, but we made 114, so we're coming out 50 ahead. We've got plenty left in the budget when January roll around, and we need to strengthen an area. I got plenty left in the payroll. And at this point in the save, I'm not afraid to spend it because, darn it, I want to win the Champions League. I want to, it's one of those cases where they want us to be competitive. They want us to reach the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. We've only gone past the quarterfinal once. That was the second season we were here, and we lost to Liverpool. The Carabao Cup, they're not worried about. I kind of am. The Community Shield, we beat West Ham. I didn't even talk about that. We beat West Ham, Fatu a goal, Sola a goal. I totally forgot that was a thing. I'm sorry. But at this point, we've got 2 days till the transfer window. I've still got players I need to move. And we're going to have to see what happens. That said, I'd be interested in your feedback on the transfer window. Did I overpay for Doku? Did I not get enough money for some of the players I did sell? Do I have too many players out on loan? At some point in time, do I just need to cut bait and run on some of these guys? Maybe. That remains to be seen. But if you did like what you've seen and heard, please have a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticism, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is FM Jellico, and thank you for watching.